All right, here we are with our peach card. So this is my card. I just wanted to show you a couple things on the card, but as you can see, I use my card to take notes on. So I completely fell in love with this. I did not anticipate that this would happen, but I had a set of cards, and as I was understanding the leaf parts and having definitions that I wanted to remember, I just started writing and even questions. So like here I'm asking myself a question, here I'm asking myself a question. I wanted to make sure this was the bract. I'm not 100% sure. And this is the sepal. So sepals and bracts are a little difficult sometimes to distinguish because, as you can see, I made a list of bract traits and I made a list of sepal traits, and they can both look like petals. So that's a little confusing. I do believe that these are the sepals. So as you can see right here, they turn into these guys. And the perinath is the sepals and the petals all together. So all of the sepals together are called the calyx, and all of the petals together are called the corolla or corolla. I'm not really sure actually which of those it should be. Corolla just makes me think of the car, but they both are, that's the same thing. It's just all the petals together. So these to me look like they're all part of that perinath. And if you take it back, so if I think this is a sepal and it's part of the perinath, then this, which is the same part, and I'll show you, I have this teeny tiny bud here. This is one of my smallest ones. And as you can see, I just broke it off of the tree. This, I believe, is the bract, that tiny one that is on the end. And then I believe that these that are covering it, and this is the job of sepals. So their job is to cover up this petal as it's developing. And you can see they're all going to open up and surround. They're a little hard to maneuver. They're so tiny. All right, I'm going to try using this guy. I don't want to break them though. I'm already breaking them. Already failed. All right, I'm going to hold it from the base. Okay. So here we go. Nope. Okay, these that I'm pulling apart, I believe are the sepals. So I'm going to pull them all back for you because I want you to see them all together and understand what they are. So in plants, sometimes they'll have a name for a small piece. So one of these is a sepal, and all of them together, I think I broke one of them off. So they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, maybe not. Probably is just 5. I think this one's just bent to the side. So I'll tell you why I think there should be 5 in a second. So all of them together are the calyx, C-A-L-Y-X. That's all of these little sepals together. When they get large, they're going to open up. We'll look at another one in just a minute. And then underneath of these, let's just cut a couple of them off so we can see. I'm going to try cutting away from my hand. Okay. Ah, look at that. So one of the petals came off there. And there are more petals inside. I need smaller hands. Okay. Look at that. Look inside. Oh my goodness. So adorable. Okay. We have lots and lots of these things that look the same. And then we have this one right here that looks different. So I'm just going to pull apart the sections so that we can see them a little better all laid out for us. Alrighty. And then I'm going to bring this one from over here because that too was part of this flower. All right. And here was one of the missing. Oh, I think it belongs right there because I just got the base of the calyx and not that sepal. Okay. So let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you remember from monocots and dicots, or monocotyledons and eudicotyledons, and so that would be the L and the N. You can tell the difference almost always just by looking at the number of petals. So if we look at the number of petals, we have 5. We also had 5 sepals, remember? So generally when a plant is one or the other, it likes to keep reproducing itself in those numbers. So because there's 5, this we know is a dicot or a eudicot. EU at the end of the word dicot just means true. So it's a true dicot. The Magnoliidae are weird. That's the M. And sometimes they are like dicots and sometimes they're like monocots. So it's tricky. That's why they're eudicots, because they're true dicots. All right. I'm going to move that out of the way. So do you see this piece right here? It's so completely developed. This is the female part. So right here at the very tip is the stigma. This long piece is the style. And right there at the bottom, which I actually did cut off from here. So this part down here that I'm pointing at, that's where the ovary is. So as you can see from the outside, the part of the plant where the ovary is called the receptacle. So there it is right there. And all of these guys, they're many, 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 and they really are the male parts. So these are all the stamen. Collectively, you can call them the stamina, because that would be plural. The little white pieces are the filaments, and the yellow parts on the end are the anther, where all the pollen is. So that's our tiniest little bud. Oh dear. Okay. Now let's see if we can get a larger one. I mean, I'm not sure how much more development we're going to get, because that one is so well developed. But again, look, so here we are. This is a little bit bigger. So that first one was covered up just like this. And so this is more like one of these buds right here. Now, guys, this is hilarious. So just look this up. And as you can see, I wrote here that these are the axillary buds. Now, I've always heard the word auxiliary. This is not that word. There's no U. It's just AX. This word, axillary or axilia or something, the root word is armpit, which I think is hilarious. So these are the armpit buds. Also, you can call them lateral buds. We talk about the word lateral in the D bonus video. So we go into the Latin and lateral and what that means. So you can check that out. You can call these lateral buds as well. Unless you want to call them axillary buds, which is hilarious because that means armpit buds, basically. So that's what this one is. So this is another one of these axillary buds. So let's open this one up. It's a little bigger. Let's see if we can get a good picture of the ovary in here. That's what my hope is. All right. Now, that one had 2, so I might be cutting it a little too. Whoops. Ooh. Oh, there it is. It's the yellow. Nice. It happens when they're really young. So that one, this must be just the beginning of that orange right there. All right, and we'll talk more about that in just a second. I think I'm breaking apart some of the petals. Sorry. All right, 2 more that I'll break apart here. I stole one of the petals from this one. So we'll just, I'll put it back over here so we know that there are 5. Still 5. Okay, so here we are. There are 5 petals and our 5 bracts. And now we have this nice, beautiful orange piece on the bottom. And here, I think, is where the ovary would be, down lower. So maybe I didn't break it off low enough for us to see that. And I have not seen the stigma or the pistil, really, sorry. The pistil is the entire female. Oh, it fell out. It's over here. So here we are. There's our pistil. So look at it. It's gotten a little longer. So before it was bent over right here. Ah, keeps moving around on me. I'll put it at the beginning. So it's gotten just a little longer and straighter, but you can definitely clearly see the stigma, the style, and it's gonna go down to that ovary. I just don't think I got the ovary fully. So check out this. This is a little tiny anther that would go right here. See how some of them are missing? Some of these filaments are missing their anther. That's where that belongs. Right there. So this is the male part. This is the female part. The male part is the stamen. All right, let's see if I can do a better job of getting the whole thing this time. All right. Ah, yes. Here we are. I'm much closer. The branch was right here. So I believe that these right here that are falling off are the bracts. And actually I'm going to put them right here. So these are little bracts. If I'm wrong, I would love it if you would write to me and correct me. You can write to me at Eileen, E-I-L-E-E-N, at docet. All right, let's slice in and see what we've got. So, tricky thing that's happening here, and you can see it right here. So see this petal, and then the sepal is kind of in between. So they're off-centered. So you see how this petal is right in between those 2 sepals. So I'm cutting through the sepals. It's very difficult to avoid cutting the petal, but I'm gonna do my best. Alrighty. Okay, this was, it's hard for me to say there was a most amazing moment in all of drawing the flowers, but it was magical to open up the peach flower for the first time and to see this orange. It was just phenomenal. I loved it. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna put this one on the end because it still has the pistil attached to it. All right, there we are. So now look at these guys, much bigger. That one still has some of that attached. So do you see there's no orange, just green, and then it gets like a light orange, and here we've gotten to a dark orange. And now these have gone from yellow, the anthers were yellow, then they get this like bright pink, and now they're a very dark pink. And the filaments on the stamen is a lot longer as well. So see how it's right up close to the top of the petal? They were so short. They were almost They're so tiny there. The filament is the same size as the anther almost. And then they're getting progressively wider, or longer, sorry. All right, and now let's look at the female part, the pistil. So the pistil is all of this. Here's the stigma, the style, and then the ovary is right down here. So this will be the peach right here. This is what's going to turn into the peach right down here. That is the ovary. So grains of pollen are going to land on this stigma. And when that happens, I'm not sure that they even know how it happens, but this tube is solid until the pollen grain lands on it. And then it goes down into the ovary. And different ones are made differently. So there will only be one peach from this flower. Some plants are different and they'll produce many, but this will only produce one. So just one peach here, and then this is what it's covering up. So again, 5 petals, 5 sepals. They're just bigger. Looks really similar. Interesting. Looks like the petal is actually a little bit taller. So I'm noticing that the anthers are no longer this pretty color that's happening. Now they're just a brown. And here's our pistil. You can see the whole thing because now you can see the ovary down here. Don't you love this? This is so amazing to me. There's this. So this orange part right here is the nectary. So this is where the bees are headed to. And when you see, I'll pull out another flower so you can look at it before it's cut apart. All right. So if you see the plant from above, what you notice is you can't see any orange, right? This one actually might not be orange anymore because it's a little older. This is going to be our next one. But even on this one, you couldn't see from above, you couldn't see that orange because these stamina or stamens are curving in and covering it up. And the reason they're doing that is because they want to give the bee some nectar, but they also want to get pollinated. So plants, flowers, really love to have that symbiotic relationship. So they're feeding the animal, but the animal is also contributing to them. We do this too. We eat their fruit and then we toss the pit somewhere and we have propagated them into a different place. But with the bees, the job they want them to do is get all the nice little pollen grains onto their body. And then because this stigma here at the end is really sticky, it's sticky when it needs pollen. And then later on it will become not sticky. But when it wants the pollen, it's sticky. And so the little tiny pollen grains will stick on there. Oh, there's one of my flowers. Petals. All right. Well, do we want to see? Let's try looking at this ovary real quick. That came out. So the ovary is where the seeds are made, and the ovules are the little tiny individual seeds. So you could have, if you look at the D flower, let's see what else. D has a really clear ovary. I has a really clear ovary with all many different ovules within it. I think there's another one, but I'm not. Ulster Mary, you can kind of see. Oh, Hellebore, you can see really well the ovary and the ovules. And again, if you want to watch the H video next, you'll get to see that progression. All right, so there go the bracts. All right, so similar. We still have the brown anthers right here, but did you notice that the petals are darker, and look at the stamina. They are darker as well. We still got the orange and the ovary. Sorry, my blade is falling. Okay, so the ovary is a little bigger. Maybe we'll have more luck this time. cut through that so you can see the insides there. All right. Still a little hard to see, but there's the ovary right there. And here's the female pistil. Whole thing. Ovary style stigma. And amazingly, I forgot to bring in my other flowers. So I'm gonna go grab a couple more for you from the tree that's outside so that we can see them when they're even more developed. Okay, so I brought in 4 of the more developed buds. So the first thing that you'll notice with these guys is pretty clear. They have no more petals. The petals are gone. They don't need the petals anymore. And we have a bunch of stamens that are sticking up. Very, very magenta. The tips, the anthers are very brown. The sepals, the calyx here is almost the same color, which is really interesting. And it's still there. This, let's cut it open and see. Let me put my glasses back on. For this one, I'm just going to slice down now that we don't have. And I'm just going to start it and then turn it over. I don't want to cut the, whoops. Where did I go? I want to preserve as much as I can. Ah, here we are. I'm going to move these guys down. So the inside now, look, it's just white. It's no more orange. I'm thinking, this is a good question. I'm thinking there's probably not any more nectar there. I don't know if it's because the bees came and ate it or if it just reabsorbs the nectar that was there, if it only stays viable for so long. And let's cut into this ovary and see what we have. Oh yes, it's so easy to see. Okay, look at this, guys. You know what's amazing? This is why I love this. I have no idea what I'm going to find because it's all hidden, right? These are the things that you don't see. So this, everything around here feels really fuzzy. Do you see that? It's already fuzzy, just like a peach. So when I did this drawing, back when my eyes were amazing, 14 years ago, do you see, even right there, how it looks fuzzy? And when I looked at this picture later, I thought I was crazy. I was like, why did I draw? Oh, good. Why did I draw it that way? But I think maybe even really early on, just like you can see all of these pieces really early on, maybe even early on, there's that fuzziness that happens. And maybe this one's a little bit more developed. These I have all as white, which makes me think that they're these younger ones. But see, these are still pretty light, even though they're pretty developed. It's just that it's closed. It's almost open. See how the petals are just touching at the top? Anyway, all right, so there's our ovary. And now the seed that's in there can start developing. Awesome. All right, well, now what I'm going to do that I have all of these out, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different stages. So what I'm going to do is take the back of my card and I'm going to draw them on the back so that I can have that as well as all the information that's on the front. And you could even, if you wanted, and you wanted to take I'm trying to think of one that won't bother the plant too much. If you wanted to take one of these new leaf sets and cut that open, you could draw that as well. See how they are forming and attaching there. So maybe I'll do that guy too, even though that's not. The topic for this card is flower development. And really, I just chose that for for peach because it was the only one that I had lots of buds on that I wasn't already using for something else. Ooh. Wow, look at this, guys. Sorry, this is really cool. Oh my goodness. Ah. I love it. It has these tiny pieces. I guess these are really small leaves in there. They're so tiny though. Look at them. They're very small. All right, so I'm gonna leave this here and then I can draw that when I'm done talking to you guys. Okay, so I'm gonna take the camera and I'm just gonna zoom in a little bit more on everything in case you don't have your own, and you can just pause it and record and have the screen in front of you if you wanna draw my flowers. All right, the peach. Here we are with our flower development. We're gonna start with, these are really small ones. Let me back this up. Hopefully we can get some better light. Here are the really small flowers. They're their very first bud. On the left over here, we've got the little tiny pistil. Then moving up, we have the next stage. Hopefully you can see those really well. And then we have these much bigger ones. See if you can get all of them. So the one on the left has the pistil on it. And then again, the one on the left had the pistil on it. And then we tried to cut it open. So it's right here on the side. There they are, and then we're gonna go over and see the last one that had flowers on it. So here is our pistil, and the one on the left. Sorry, my hand's a little shaky. And then the very last one right here. And that's it, guys. That's the peach. Oh, do you want to see this guy really quick too? There is the leaf. It's kind of hard to see it cut open because I think it's a little, it's laying on its side a little bit. That one might be, let's see if I can move it for you. Thanks again for joining me today. I absolutely love cutting open flowers and finding out what's happening. I've never before done the progression like this, so it was amazing to do it with you guys for the first time and see how that works. And now I've got to get to my drawings. Hopefully you've already done some. I would love to see yours, so if I am ever at an event where you're coming to, then bring me your drawings so that I can see them. I would love that. All right, I'll put some links below to other videos that are related, and hopefully I'll see you on the next video. Bye, guys.